Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends. This is Dylan with Tucson Future Classics, and that is our 2019 Toyota Highlander XLE. Before I start talking about the Highlander platform at large, I'll tell you a little bit about this specific Highlander. This one has just under 96,000 miles. It is a two-owner car coming out of Texas to California before making its way to us here in Arizona. It is the XLE trim, which is the second from the top, meaning it gets shot in Toyota's premium Ooh La La Rouge Mica, which is fancy burgundy metallic, but you gotta love Toyota's paint color names. And the interior is their black leather. Now, a cool thing to note on the Carfax vehicle history report on this, all of its mechanical maintenance has been done at Toyota dealers, full stop. The only things that are exceptions to that are emissions testing and a couple of visits to tire shops. So nice to see that someone, even outside of the factory-backed service, went out of their way to get factory work done to this thing. But not that you really have to worry that much, because these Highlanders are notoriously stout vehicles. You really can't ask for a better built, large, three-row crossover. In fact, this Highlander, this generation, was one of the very first SUVs to be approved and authorized for use by New York City's Taxi Car and Livery Commission, approving it for use as a full yellow medallion car. So if it's going to live up to being a New York City cab, you know it has to be tough. Toyota managed to do that by building this on the same chassis and platform that they build the larger Sienna on. So all the heavy-duty, heavy-weight carrying stuff that their minivans have to handle is all built underneath this chassis, which is great. This is basically a slightly smaller, more efficient minivan with better ground clearance and higher towing. Like, this has got the nearly 300 horsepower, 3.5 liter 2GR series V6 up front that Toyota has used forever. This one gets direct injection and an 8-speed automatic transmission, meaning this gets 21 city, 27 highway. And if you put a hitch on the back, it can tow 5,000 pounds. These are phenomenally well-engineered platforms, and, you know, a 3-across bench seat that folds in the rear, the 2 captain's chair bucket middle seats, and then the 2 big front seats with the center console means you can fit 7 in this, 6 comfortably. I'll show you all that in just a minute when we get under the hood, into the car, and out for a rip. Up here under the hood of the Highlander, you can see we've got that 3.5 liter 2GR FKS direct injected V6 just idling away right front and center. But you'll see pretty big engine bay. Uniquely enough, this is the front wheel drive variant of the Highlander, so not only do you get a lighter vehicle with a simplified drivetrain, but it's also slightly more compact, making for more room up under here. And Toyota made it pretty simple to understand too. You've got your washer fluid reservoir right here. Add your oil there. Check your oil here. Move it over. Fresh EverStart battery in it there. Got your air cleaner here. Brake fluid reservoir here. And your fuse box is there. Spinning us all the way around. That underneath the air snorkel there is your coolant overflow reservoir. So anything you need to worry about keeping track of under here is pretty easy to see and pretty easy to monitor. Out here in the back, this has 2 cool features that kind of set it apart from a lot of the other large crossover SUVs in its segment. Push this little button here. It's got the split lifting rear glass. So if you just need to quickly toss something in without opening the whole hatch, like groceries or whatever, you can do that. But now to open the whole hatch, press right on the Toyota logo, and up that power lift gate goes. Now I currently have the back seats folded down from when I was taking pictures, but to give an idea of just how much room there is back here, lots of space, and I can show off without climbing over everything. You've got cup holders on both sides for the 3rd row passengers, as well as their own vents. Now, before I flip those seats up, right under this factory little extra padding here, we have got the full Toyota tool set here in the back with the jack tucked behind this panel and a little extra storage cubby there. Folding that back over real quick. To pick these seats up, all you got to do, grab a loop, come on back. That stands them perfectly vertically. And then if you got bigger passengers in the back and they want some more comfort, pull this loop and you can recline these seats really quite far back to make space for third row passengers. Plus, those middle row seats slide a full 1.5 feet forward and backwards. So you've got a ton of room and modularity. Getting into the third row seats isn't terribly difficult either. Toyota actually has these marked really, really well. If you want to just flip the seat down, use this first lever. Second lever is to fold it flat to make a level cargo floor all the way to the back door. And for quick access into the back, just pull this up and the whole thing folds and slides forward out of the way. So let's get me in the back here, just to give you an idea. Now this is fully back. These seats do slide so you can make more room, but I'm going to show you what a worst case scenario for a 6'1", 270-pound person looks like here in the third row. Spin this around. One good thing to note, pop those headrests up, and with the seats reclined, you can actually not run out of headroom, and knee room is definitely at a premium with these middle seats all the way back, but you slide them about 6 inches forward and you'll be pretty good to go. This back seat though, good for a little time, not for a long time, unless you're moving, you know, smaller people, kids. Like, they got cup holders, they got headrests, they're child seat anchors, top tethers are behind, and anchor posts are underneath there. So this thing is really optimized for making as many people as comfortable as possible. Now I'm gonna come over to the middle row, put myself behind my own driver's seat, and even, let's say I want to be nice and give those backseat passengers a little bit more room. That's nearly a foot forward, and I still have ample knee room. Now, the middle row is kind of where it's at. You've got sunshades, manually dropping sunshades to keep the heat and the sun out. Middle row passengers also get their own overhead vents. Plus, if the driver feels like unlocking their controls, they can have their own completely independent rear HVAC, which also, there's a second blower motor in the back of the vehicle, so this thing can really move some air. Middle row passengers also get this little center console, 2 cup holders, little tray, but it does fold down out of the way to make a pass-through to those rear seats. And armrests here, and these do not only slide, but once you're done sliding them, you can pull that lever and recline them all the way back if you want to. So definitely a lot of space, a lot of comfort back here. And if you look right down below, this is a home power plug here. Plug in, you know, TV, DVD player, blender, whatever. And above that, you've got 2.1 amp USB-A quick charge outlets. So you will never run out of juice while you're hanging out back here. Now onto the most important seat in the whole thing, the captain's seat. But before I get to that, I want to show you all this. Full powered seats, which you'd expect from an XLE trim. Lumbar, seat goes up, seat goes down, forward, back, tip, all that usual stuff. But this here, this is kind of unique. This is for thigh support, thigh bolstering. If you hold this down, it'll extend further and further forward to give you a little extra bracing and support if you've got particularly long legs, which, as a haver of some of those, I definitely appreciate. But now that we're seat set up, we're dialed in, steering wheel tilts and telescopes to get just right for you, let's go over all the buttons. Power windows, power mirrors, power door locks are right here on the driver's door with the window lockout there. You've got a little storage cubby down here, fuel release, and the foot pedal emergency brake is right down there. This is for your heated wipers to help defrost everything. kind of neat to see. So where the wipers sit on the glass has a heating element under it so they don't freeze up. Not that we need that much here in the desert, but hey, you never know where you're going to take this thing. Automatic high beams are here. Start stop can be turned off through pushing that button there, and that opens that back gate from inside the car. Here on the wheel, pretty standard fare Toyota stuff. You've got your infotainment controls here, volume up, volume down, skip tracks, change mode, put a call on hold, or voice activate and give the car voice commands here. This also allows you to hang up and answer calls. Over here, this little panel controls your center gauge cluster. So the nice clear analog gauges are the usual thing from Toyota. Tach and temperature on the left, speed and fuel on the right. But here in the middle, you get lots of good options and information and all kind of stuff. How economically you're using the vehicle. If you have Bluetooth to phone in, you can skip tracks there. If you're using regular radio or XM radio, it'll change station. All the usual stuff, radar guided cruise control. Start stop here shows how much time and how much, by extension, how much fuel the start stop system has saved you. So it's kind of a neat thing to see. And then here you've got a million different options. Lane departure assist, the automatic braking for the predictive collision system, BSM, blind spot monitors, power mode, which is kind of cool. It just, you know, advances the throttle, the shift timing, and that kind of stuff, make it a little bit punchier. It also takes the auto stop start off as much as possible while still being, you know, efficient there. You can dial in extended or standard lengths of time off. Here in the desert, keep it on standard, because when the motor is off, the AC gets weak. We can't have that when it's over 110 outside. But then, yeah, all the usual options are in there. Your cruise control is right down here. Push in to turn on, set, resume, and pull back to cancel. Now for the infotainment in this is Toyota's updated infotainment system. It is a touchscreen, but you have these hotkey buttons here on the side. So if you'll notice, it says to keep adding a phone. I deal with so many cars, I actually aux in my phones all of the time because I don't feel like having, 85 different things on my Bluetooth. But if you want to, you can Bluetooth. You just literally hit phone, go to add, and you can Bluetooth in a phone for both calls and media. Audio is what gives you the option of the auxiliary in, XM satellite radio, AM, FM, or Bluetooth. And home takes you back to a split screen showing your media and your navigation. If you have your phone connected or Toyota's premium connectivity still on here, you can then access their suite of apps. Most of these still work. Like Eco will give you your historical fuel economy, navigation, live traffic. Easy Speak is neat. It's kind of hard to show, but what it does is it projects your voice from this microphone here and plays it on the back speakers, so you can, yell at your kids and passengers without having to actually yell at your kids and passengers. Kind of a neat feature. Down below all this, you got your climate control. So, being a newer vehicle, you've got automatic climate control if you want to. Set the temperature, hit it auto, and let it go. But here, you can turn the rear on and off. You can set the temperature up here or allow them to control it in the back. Or if you hit sync, it'll synchronize driver and passenger or all positions at the same time. And, other than that, it's the normal thing. How hot you want it, how hard you want it, and where you want it. So I'll set that back to auto and let it do its thing. Other than that, space and the management of it is great in here. You've got these huge cup holders up front, like swallowing up a big Yeti water bottle. Seat heaters down below here. Your usual Prindle park reverse neutral drive. If you knock it over to the left, it's in sport mode, and you can force it to hold gears. So you're setting the maximum gear it will hold by moving that forward and backwards. The storage in here is really cool. This little thing will hold your phone in place but allow a cable to pass through, either for a charging cable or an aux cable. This whole thing is an open tray. It's got little dividers, so my second phone is there, my third phone is here. Lots of room with that. Big glove box taken up by a lot of all the factory manuals and documentation are in there, but you can fit a bunch of stuff. And then this center console here is, quite frankly, enormous. Like, let me get my dealer plate and my detailing rags out of here. But yeah, cavernous. Plus, it has another cigarette lighter style power outlet hiding at the bottom of it. So you can store everything, you can charge everything. Like, there's not a lot you cannot do in this Highlander. You've got an auto-dimming rearview mirror up above. This is cool. You've got your usual sunglass holster, but to keep an eye on the kiddos or people in the back, when you're busy yelling at them with the driver easy speak, you can keep an eye on them with a little fisheye mirror there. And if you want to let some more sun in, you've got yourself a sunroof that not only does it pop open to vent, which great way to evacuate hot, stale air down here in the desert, but it does fully open all the way up if you are so inclined. So yeah, very well set up, definitely comfortable. Let's drive. As we pull down into the covered part of the parking garage here, I've got all the windows open, so if this thing is gonna make any weird squeaky, crunchy, clunky noises, we're gonna hear them right now together. But it's a Toyota Highlander. It's been well maintained, and these things are very well built, so I'm not too worried about that. Honestly, the most noise you're gonna hear is my hands squeaking on the leather-wrapped steering wheel and the tires on the concrete. But we'll give it a little throttle. Actually, right about here, we'll give it a little squeeze. Brakes. No weird noises. Everything does as it should. Now let's do a real quick parking sensor and backup camera test. Backup camera lights up. Oh, and it's actually playing well with the refresh rate on my phone. That's nice. These cameras usually flicker because the refresh rate on the screen fights with the camera's flicker rate on the cell phone I record on, but cool, super easy, comes right on back, good resolution, and those little guidelines are in a pretty good spot too. That back red line is right on the parking cable stays behind everything here, and that gives you about 6 inches of space to spare. But it's enough of this low speed stuff. Let's get out on the real roads and get up some speed. Merging onto the interstate here. Let's let that 3.5 really do its thing. It's amazing how well that motor motivates this SUV. I mean, well, here's a kind of cool thing if you want to be able to brag to your friends. Technically speaking, the 2GR series motors, the 3.5s that are in this, are the same motors that Lotus builds for their Europa and Evora supercars. They literally just smack a supercharger on it and some free-flowing exhaust headers. So if you want to brag to your friends that your SUV has got a Lotus motor in it, you wouldn't totally be lying to them. And it's just super smooth out here on the highway at speed. I'm going to whack on the cruise control, set it up, 70 mile an hour speed set. The lane keep assist with lane centering is on, so it will actually lock onto the vehicle in front, pace them, and give us a buffer and give us a little bit of steering to keep us in our lanes. Not, true like autopilot or the newest batch of adaptive cruise controls or assisted cruise controls, but it takes about 60% of the burden off of commuting, and it does a pretty good job. Like, now there's a gap, it's going to start slowly accelerating us closer to the 70 miles an hour we have set until we reach the set following distance behind that car in front. Super solid, for commuting duties or big long road trips. You really can't go wrong with one of these. We are staged up here at the end of a mostly abandoned dead-end road here in Tucson. We're going to do a quick 0 to 40 to 0 to show off that there is nothing hiding in the braking, suspension, engine, or transmission under full accelerative or ABS panic stop decelerative load. So we know the 3.5 in this is already pretty spicy. It's pretty performative. So I'm going to leave traction control on because I don't want to completely boil the tires. But I will turn power mode on, knock us into sport mode, and yeah, crack the window, see if we can hear it chirp the tires a little bit. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go, traction control light flashing, trying to keep it reeled in. 40. ABS right to a stop. Heard that brr, 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 brr. That was the ABS pump braking each wheel individually to reel this thing in quickly and stably. Been out on the highway, give you a little taste of things here in town. So, you know, whether you're commuting to work, doing the school run, or just running errands, this obviously handles like the low speed suburban and urban stuff quite well. And in the exterior walk around, I mentioned that these were actually one of the first SUVs approved by the New York City Taxi and Livery Car Commission. They have to be very, very tough to stand up to that job. And actually, I'm not going to, take you off-roading, but we can find some pretty rough stuff right here in Tucson. So let's go down this little alleyway here. Broken up pavement, manhole cover there, speed bump number 1, number 2, number 3, and then some pretty big craters. It completely soaks it up because this is built on the same chassis and platform as the Sienna, but rides up higher. You get even more suspension travel, better ground clearance, along with that really robust suspension that's meant to carry, even more load and even larger vehicle than this. So even asking it to deal with just crappy, imperfect pavement here in the little neighborhoods, it does a really, really good job of it. Minimal squeaks or rattles coming from this thing. I mean, Toyota's build quality, we all know, is good. And, even after, 7 years and 96,000 miles, it's still screwed together incredibly well and holding up great. So I'm pretty confident there isn't much you couldn't throw at this Highlander that it couldn't handle. Back at our lot, wrapping everything up on the 2019 Toyota Sienna XLE. These were one of the first car platform unibody crossover SUVs. And when Toyota grew the Highlander to a 3-row, that is the formula that Honda copied with the Pilot, and everybody else has been playing catch up or keep up ever since. These are tough enough to be officially vetted and allowed to be New York City yellow cabs. They're comfortable enough to carry you and 6 of your friends, 7 in a bind. And they are capable enough with that little bit of extra ground clearance, those 300-pound load roof racks, and if you put a hitch on it, that 5,000-pound tow rating to do a little bit of whatever you need. This is basically 80% size minivan with 120% driving capability. So, yeah, if you don't want a minivan, you don't need to get one. You have choices. And to find out why this is a good one, call or text the number you're about to see on screen, or click the link in the description below to set up an appointment to see this in person. Until then, I've been Dylan. We'll see you soon.